I just threw my Teflon seals into a pan that has boiling water that just came off the stove. O-ring is already in place. Okay, you slip these on just like a normal O-ring then once you have them hot, but they are square edged, so you do need to be careful. You don't want to roll the edge over. Now we have to get them compressed down to the size they're supposed to be to fit in. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to take this piece of Gorilla Tape here, sticky side out. We're going to wrap it around. This is kind of tricky. I'm going to try to get it as tight as we can here. And then it will stick to itself. You don't want to stick it to the metal though, that's the key. And then once we get this down, now I'm going to take a piece and put it the right way. Right over where those O-rings are. Now I'm really going to squeeze it. That's squeezing those pretty tight. Compressing them, that's compressing them as much as I can. We're going to let these set. The longer the better. Probably going to let it set for a few hours, and hopefully those Teflon rings will compress into the grooves better. Okay, now we're just going to leave this set for a while. I've got to let my paint dry on my housing anyway. We'll move on to another project. Come back to this maybe later tonight or tomorrow. Bearings going in. This 1 1/8" socket is real close to the same size, close as I got. So I'm going to go ahead and use that to drive the bearing down in. I already have this one started. So now I'm just going to go ahead and drive it down in until it seats. I think it's down in all the way. If you're not sure, you can look from the other way and see if it's up against the stop. Okay, the other side is a little more difficult because you're going down in further. So I had to use this socket with the extension and just gently tap, and it went right into place. These bearings go in quite easily. The tape off. It's been setting for hours now, and it fit in the groove really well. It's not crooked or anything. Okay, the Teflon rings look really good. It looks like compressing them really worked. This has been setting for a little while. I needed to regroup. The hardest part about this is getting the ball bearings in here correctly, and that's what you'll probably hear from anybody who's ever rebuilt one. So I'm trying to figure out the best way, and then hopefully you can avoid all the problems and all the mistakes that I make and do it easy for yourself the first time. What I've done is I've taken this piece here where the ball bearings go in, piston part, and I've taken this out. This is just a plug in the end. I just used an impact and buzzed it out, and I would recommend taking this out definitely because you can clean in there a lot better. And mine still had some slime in there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get the ball bearings in. Another thing I found out about the ball bearings, mine are all the same color. I've seen other people say that they have two different colored ones, but mine are all the same. When I was looking through, I found I only had 21. So at some point I've lost at least one, possibly three, possibly five. When you look at different applications, it appears there's some with 22, 24, or 26 in them. I think 24 is the most common. I went to Ace real quick, thought it was a 1/4 inch. That's a 1/4 inch. It's definitely noticeably smaller, so that wouldn't work. And if you're wondering, I mic'd mine out. These were 9/32. So that left me with McMaster Carr 9/32. And you have to buy them in a quantity of 50, which is no big deal. They were $5 and something. And then $5 more to ship it. So it was between $10 and $11 total. And they had them to me the next day. Now we just got to put them in. I think what you need to do is, as you're putting them in, make sure you hold them in the grooves there in the grease. Yeah. I see why people hate this so much. Okay, well, they kept falling out. I don't know how good you can see in there. But you just feed them in from one side, and they'll feed right around until they come out the other side. And you just fit as many of them as you can in there. I lost count, but you can see I have one there and one there now. They're all greased in there. I'm going to go ahead and fill up my tube, as many as I can fit in there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of grease in the tube so they don't fall out on the ends. I'm going to put the cover back on like this. My 2 bolts here. I'm just going to fit it in here like so. So we're just going to bolt the keeper on. Make sure it's not going to come off and you're not going to break it, and you'll be fine. Okay, now I really don't want those to fall out, so I'm going to go ahead and give them a little bit more grease. If I can get my finger in there. Okay, those are all greased up, and they're all in place perfect. So I'm going to make sure I got a little bit of transmission fluid on the seal. And it's clean. There we go, that looks good. I pushed it forward until it came all the way into the plate inside of here. We're ready to get the worm gear back in. Make sure your bearings are on. Make sure everything is together good. Lube up the seals with a little bit of transmission fluid. Okay, you're going to want to, once you get this started, Start screwing it in counterclockwise very slowly. You're going to want to watch from the other side also. You're going to want to be shining the light in there and watching, making sure that none of the ball bearings are falling out. Okay, I think you can see it started. We're just going to go ahead and keep turning it. And we're all the way in. And we didn't drop any bearings, so I think we're actually good. Okay, now that we have that part all together, we're going to go ahead and put this end cap on and use the impact, and I'm going to hold that from spinning inside of the box here with a pry bar. Okay, that's going to do that. Next thing I'm going to do is work on the input shaft end. So we're going to put this in. Okay, you can see the teeth down here, the 4 teeth that will move the output shaft. Everything's turning fine, so that has me feeling a lot better. Got a new O-ring and a new keeper. I'm going to go ahead and lube up the O-ring a little bit before I put it in. Just a little bit of transmission fluid on my fingers. Okay, you can see the first seal down there, then a washer, second seal, washer. I'm not going to drive them down too far. What I'm going to do is, after I get it just down past the lip a little further, I'm going to slide the snap ring in there so that as I'm driving it down, the snap ring will pop into place and keep me from driving it down too far. Okay, you can see doing that technique. It's in square. Snap ring is in perfect. Washers are right up against it. So we're ready to put the shaft back in there. Okay, we're just going to slip this back down in. We got the teeth lined up in the middle. Hopefully it drops right in. There we go. Join on here, and I'm just trying to get a feel for how tight to set this. I think that's about where I want it. I'm going to go ahead and tighten down the retainer. Okay, set this down until it was fairly tight. Then I'm just backing it off a little bit. Okay, there's that. I think it's ready to go back in the Bronco now. Well, it looks like we got another project successfully wrapped up. Box is in. You can see a little bit of fluid, but it's over there under the reservoir. That was when I was bleeding out the system fixed. So a new box is $500 to $650. So $75 really doesn't seem like that much in light of all that.